Hello, everybody. This is Shane R. Monroe. You're in the passenger seat with me. It's Passenger Seat Radio. It is Thursday, October 17th, 2024, and you are on my 13-mile commute to work. What's going on? All right, let me bring up my keep list. I just got gas, so I should be good to go. All right, let's see. All right, cool. I've got a few items to talk about. Actually, I have more than the extra items because I had a few more things I hadn't written down yet. So let's get on the road, shall we? So it's my son just went back to work yesterday. So he's been obviously sort of convalescing a little bit. And just me on the road here. He's been convalescing, so he hasn't been really looking for work. He had to quit Little Caesars, right? You know, he worked at Little Caesars. He had to quit there, personality conflicts with management. Imagine, right? I mean, the manager probably a year older than he is, right? I mean, now he's a manager. That's so funny. But yeah, listen, he'll be a strict but fair manager of these lands. And I think they'll have a good asset. He tends to get taken advantage of a lot because he's a really nice guy. So he'll end up working extra shifts and he'll put in more time. So listen, I mean, it's his life now, right? I mean, he's 18. It's weird to think that the last of my children are finally off the umbilical cord. But, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm glad, but I'm not. I mean, our influence on his life is mostly over. There's only so much more you can do. And that kind of changes around 14 or 15 anyway, right? We talked about that. But, yeah, it's sort of like, Billy Joel, right? I don't care what you say anymore. It's my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone. So, oh, honey, why are you trying to cross the street here? There's a light right down there. People are crazy. I mean, listen, I don't want to use the crosswalk either, but geez, it's like frickin' rush hour here, lady. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, we've started having the I'm 18-bit now, like, I don't really have to come home when you tell me to. It's like, well, listen, if you want the door unlocked when you come home, you should at least advise us on your schedule. That way we don't shoot you when you try to come in the house at 2 a.m., right? Thinking you were already home for 3 hours. But anyway, just the nature of the beast, the last kid, not leaving the nest, but, outgrowing the nest, if you will. So kind of interesting. But yeah, speaking of my son, we had this crazy problem with his computer, and I figured I would share the story because I'm a little out of practice at diagnosing PCs with problems. Let's be honest, most problems with PCs are software, right? Corrupted Windows, bad drivers, some USB device fucking everything over and crashing. But this one was kind of special. So I ended up selling him my last gaming PC. When I got my new one this last year, I sold him mine at a great discount, family bargain rates. And so that I knew that he would have a solid computer because he wanted a gaming PC. He's kind of outgrown the console a little bit. He sees what I get to do on the PC and he wants in on it, right? He wants a piece of the action. So, this way, if I sold him my PC, I knew that he was getting something that was of decent quality, that's been tried and true, burned in, if you will, over time. And it's been known to be a solid performer. Of course, I wiped the drive. I put on a fresh copy of Windows 11 for him, gimped the shit out of it. And, he was kind of good to go, but for a very short period of time. He almost immediately started having problems with the PC randomly crashing. Now, if you're a Windows 11 user, crashes don't happen as much as they used to. I'm not saying the Windows 11 never crashes, but in all honesty, the crashing PC days are kind of over. I don't know why they're kind of over, but like, unless I do something really fucking hinky, Like, Windows 11 will never blue screen. There'll be never a random shutdown out of nowhere. And if there is, right, you can head over to the event viewer, and Windows will pretty much tell you, like, right off the bat, what's wrong. And, you don't have to be a genius. It's not like they use just a bunch of codes anymore. I mean, they use pretty much plain English. Say, NVIDIA caused fault, page fault. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, that's the GPU. No problem. I mean, so I know at least what it is. So his problems were not blue screens of death, which I expect that to not be blue screens of death. It's Windows 11. Windows 10, I still got blue screens, but not very often. But Windows 11, it's like, forget about it. I think I've seen maybe one, and that's because I had some shitty device plugged in. But anyway, so, yeah, so and when it would crash, it didn't blue screen. It didn't really reboot. The screen would go black, and you could still hear some audio playing in the background if he was playing a particular game or something. So you'd actually have to force stop. You'd have to forcibly power down the PC. So it's like, okay, let's do the basic stuff. Let's make sure all the drivers are up to date. Let's do this. Let's do that. I mean, I check the event view and there's nothing. Windows shut down unexpectedly. Yeah, no shit, fuckers. Why? Nothing. There was nothing. Hey, Michael Caine, the great British actor, is here. Anyway, so yeah, see, it was madness. And so, I did everything that I knew what to do. I made sure it was fully up to date. All the drivers are up to date. Everything looked good, but and there was no reproducible way of making it crash. It seemed to have something to do with load because it only crashed inside of games. But then he said, no, that's not true. Sometimes the PC would just crash when he opens Discord. I mean, I was kind of at a loss. I was running out of ideas. And I said, okay, listen, there's got to be something wrong with the Windows install. That's got to be what it is. It's got to be. It's got to be it. So I said, I'm going to put another drive in your PC. We're going to install Windows Fresh on it, and you're going to operate normally for a while with that drive. And if it is the drive, we'll know. And if it's not the drive, we can pull that one out and you can go back to the other drive. So we put the other drive in. He was on, sort of on bed rest for a lot of that. So he wasn't really playing on the PC. So it seemed like it was working out, but it really wasn't, because as soon as he started gaming back on it again or getting back more on it, fucking thing would just dump. And again, there was no cause. So I said, listen, the graphics are taking a shit. I'm going to have to go with the video card persuasion. Let's do this. Let's order another video card. We'll even make sure it's a small upgrade for what you got now, right? It's like a 3060 Ti or something versus a 2080 Super. I said, let's put a new card in. If it works, I'll split the difference with you on the card price, and we'll call it a day. I said, but if it doesn't work, we can pull it out and we can send it back to Amazon, and no harm, no foul. But we gotta troubleshoot this thing. We gotta start it's gotta be hardware now. At first, I thought maybe there was a power problem, right? PSU is not an uncommon thing to take a dump. But I said, let's start with a video card. It feels video related, right? And it seems to mostly happen when you're playing games. You lose your video, but the audio's still playing. It's not completely crashed. Let's do that first. So I ordered the new video card. We replaced said video card. And within a day, he was crashing. So it wasn't that. Pulled the card back out, put the old one back in, and now we're trying to figure out the next phase of deployment here. What are we going to do next? So you're really down to kind of three things at that point. So I got to teach a little bit while we did this, which was good. I said, so there's only a few things left, right? We did the GPU, we did the graphics processor. So the CPU, the memory, or the PSU. It could be the motherboard, but that would be catastrophic, right? So let's start with what we have. Let's start with the easy, low-hanging fruit. So that's when I sort of was paying more attention. So we started looking at memory, right? So the unit had two 16 gigabyte sticks in it. And, 32 may be a little overkill, right? But I'm a multitasking kind of guy. I like to have a nice extra buffer of memory. Most people can get away with 16, no problem. Especially if you got a really nice GPU. But, I went for the 32. And so that's what he got with my old PC. Getting on the highway. Give me a second here. Right. So I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull one of the sticks of memory and we're going to play with it for a couple of days. And then if it still crashes, we'll swap memory, right? It's good that we have two 16s because you really don't have to be crippled. We're just going to, we'll swap them in and out and figure out which one, if either of them are causing your problem. Well, once I kind of looked at the memory sticks, I kind of got this spidey sense tingling, and I don't know why this didn't hit me before. I guess because, if you're not looking for an allergy, you're not going to find an allergy, right? Unless you're an allergist. Then you're going to find one regardless. But one of the sticks is like HyperX memory with the big fins and the cooling fins. It's all wrapped in this huge heat sink. And then the other one just looks like a fucking, Goodwill card. Something you picked up out of a garbage bin at Goodwill. It doesn't have any heat sinks on it. It's by some no-name company. I don't know. It's like SK Link or something. It's like okay. Maybe this is it, right? So I pulled out the shit looking version of the memory, the SK Link or whatever it was. I pulled that out, and then of course, the slots were all fine. Because the way that they put the good memory in slot 1, the shitty memory in slot 2. So, anyway, longer story short, I pulled the shitty looking chip or SIM out, and he has been crash free. So that was definitely it. And it's like, wow, that's like a months long endeavor of trying to figure out why his PC was doing shit that didn't make sense at all. But anyway, so that's the Brian PC story. I've had that sort of on the backlog for a while, but haven't really had time to talk about it. So good time to do it on the trip. Let's see. So we are headed to see ELO, well, Jeff Lynne's ELO, right? In concert here next week. I'm very excited about that. This is supposed to be their farewell tour, right? This is their, down and out or whatever they call it. This is supposed to be their last tour, and I've never got to see ELO in concert, so we spent some decent cash, got some decent... listen, I ain't paying $1,000 a ticket, kiss my ass. But we paid decent money and got decent seats where we're not going to be in the freaking nosebleeds the whole time, which is, that's what you're looking for. We're on the main floor, in the center, right? So we're center, main, second set of seats, right? So... right in front of the stage is one set of seats on the right and left, and then we are on the right-hand side, one set of seats back. So we're in pretty good shape. So I'm excited to see that. Well, it also turned out, because my wife and I went to to Kylie Minogue's residency in Vegas, right? And, listen, I'm not going to tell that story again because I've talked about it a lot, but we really had a good time, and I really enjoyed seeing Kylie in concert. So it turns out that she never tours in North America because, let's be honest, this isn't where her fan base is. I mean, she's like an entertainer of the century in every country but this one. Go figure, right? So anyway, so she is on a North American tour, which is rare in itself. And she's actually coming to a fucking town I live in, which is also usually pretty fucking rare for these things. So it's like, okay, look. She's not at residency anymore, although there's word that she'll be back. When's my next opportunity to see Kylie Minogue, all right? So this time, listen, if you think it's crazy to spend that kind of money on ELO, I paid double for Kylie Minogue. I did get better seats, though. So, listen, it costs a lot. And then, of course, Ticketmaster's a fucking scam. Those fuckers, man. And of course, it's like everything else, right? They show you the ticket price, but that's not what you pay. There's the service fee and the handling fee and the Ticketmaster sales fee. I mean, basically the ticket price is like half of what you're going to pay. Maybe 2/3 of what you're going to pay. Everything else is goddamn Ticketmaster off the top of it. So, yeah, so Kylie is coming in April. I mean, listen, I wanted good seats, so I figured I had to buy now, even though it's still quite a ways away. But, yeah, so my wife and I are queued up to go see Kylie in April. So that's kind of cool. I'm excited to go see the concert again, another concert. So this will probably be a bit more theatrical. I've seen a lot of her concerts when she's on tour. They're very theatrical, sort of like ELO. ELO is very theatrical. But her venue was not quite as theatrical because a very small venue, as I mentioned. So, yep, excited about, excited about that. All right, so I got the two biggies off my list. Now I'll tell you, because don't forget, I'm going to have this Dead Zone coming up, and I'm hoping that the Dead Zone will not be dead. I'm going to try to get next to a truck or something, and maybe I won't lose connectivity. But if I do, that'll be the end of the show. So anyway, I had the craziest dream last week. I was going to talk about it last week, but didn't get to it. Ran out of time. Craziest dream last week. In my dream, I knew all of the secrets of the universe. I know that sounds kind of goofy, and it's like, well, that's a dumb fucking dream. It's like, it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. So listen to this. I knew how to transport matter. It was child's play. You ever see that episode of Star Trek, the original series, Spock's brain, when they steal Spock's brain out of his head and they track down the brain, right? They track down the brain, but Bones doesn't have the skills to put it back in. He's like, dude, I couldn't even begin to put somebody's brain back in. And then he hooks up to that fucking, omniscient machine, and it starts feeding him shit. And he's like, oh, of course. This is so simple. This is child's play. I can do this with my eyes closed. And so everything in the dream, I knew everything. I could reorganize matter at the atomic level. It was easy. It was nothing, no problem at all. Which means when you can reorganize matter, by the way, just in case you didn't know, if you can reorganize matter, not only can you, basically change the environment around you to be whatever you want, but you can also do crazy shit like transform your own body into something else, or fly, or perform superpowers, or, basically, if you can reorganize matter at the atomic level, you're pretty much completely, you're everything. You're completely invincible. You're like Superman, Spider-Man, Hulk, everyone, everywhere, all at once, right? You're everything. If you can control matter at that level. I also understood everything about, like I said, the universe, its construction, aliens, all that stuff. Everything about, I knew it. I just knew it. It was duh, right? I felt like one of these early Anunnakus or something, right? I knew everything about everything. And it was so fucking stupid that we didn't already know all this stuff. It's like it was so simple to me. But that's not the weird part. The weird part is when you wake up from a dream like that. Sorry, I'm a little snotty this morning. When you wake up from a dream where you're basically God, and you're sitting there for a fleeting moment or two when you wake up from something like that, you think that you still can do all that shit. It's like your brain hasn't disconnected from the dream quite just yet. So your brain's like, this is fucking great. You can do all of this shit now. You're out of this dream thing, but you know everything. It's stuck with you. It stayed with you. And much like Bones in that Star Trek episode, it faded very quickly. Everything that I knew, all of these superpowers, all of these tricks, the mastery of the universe, all this stuff, gone, like in a blink of an eye. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of fucking depressing. Imagine being God, and then you have to go back to being fucking nobody you. Right? That's kind of what it felt like, and it's fairly disheartening. I don't know if anybody else has had a dream like that. I've had dreams where I could do certain things, like being able to fly. Flying, of course, Freud has a lot to say about flying in your dreams. It means you're sexually repressed, but everything was about Freud was being sexually repressed. So, take that with a grain of salt. But I thought it was really interesting, because you could fly, or telekinesis. That was something I always wanted to do. Never a pyro, never a fire starter, never anything like that. But being able to fly, being able to move shit with your mind, that's a pretty common dream fare for me. But not like being God, like being able to do anything and everything and know everything, right? I think that was even more important than being able to do things, was like you knew everything. There was no secrets that weren't revealed to you. You just knew everything. And to wake up and find out that that's not you and that you're, fucking scumbag now. I don't know. It was kind of depressing, and it leaves you in a weird state when you wake up, But anyway. Oh, I had another fucking Inception dream. This is like 2 in a month, which is bizarre because I don't think I've ever had an Inception dream at all. And now all of a sudden, I'm having them sort of regularly, and it freaks me the fuck out. What's even worse is the Inception dream. So essentially, I was laying in bed with my wife, obviously to go to bed, right? In the dream, I was also laying in bed with my wife. So it's not just a matter of not knowing if you're awake or asleep or anything like that, but you're asleep and you wake up and you're still asleep. For those of you who listen to that episode, you know what I'm talking about. But in this case, it kept going back and forth. I was in bed with my wife in the dream, and she was accusing me of cheating on her or something because, I don't know, it was she kept showing me this t-shirt that had some weird symbol on it. This is my fucked up head, okay? She's showing me a t-shirt with some weird symbol that proves somehow that I cheated on her, right? And I'm like going, I don't fucking even know what that is. What the fuck is that? Why are you even showing me this? What are we talking about? And then I would wake up, and for real I would wake up, and I'm laying in bed with my wife, and I'm going, do you have a t-shirt by any chance? Right? I mean, that's what you're thinking. You're going, well, she looks like she's asleep. Does she have a t-shirt? Then you go back to sleep and you're right back in there. You're right back into her screaming at me with holding this t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. Totally fucking bizarre. I mean, I have no explanation. And this happened 4 or 5 times. In the dream, out of the dream, trying to decide if I'm still in the dream, back into the dream, wondering what the fuck she's talking about, back out of the dream. It was nuts. It was absolutely nutty. I don't even know where this shit comes from. I really don't. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm having these sort of Inception dreams. It's very, very, very strange. God, traffic sucks on the 17 today. Lord. I'm still 12 minutes from work. Lord almighty. I don't know what's going on. Just a regular Thursday, I guess. Anyway, that checks off the sorry. Damn. I'm still doing my intermittent fasting, so I've had no caffeine, no drinks, which is probably why my throat's all thrashy. But I haven't had anything. So when I get to work, I did find so somebody had asked, I don't remember if it was here in the show or on our Discord, which, by the way, a lot of people seem to be trailing over there from the show. Who knew? So it's discord.monroeworld.com. So if you go there, you should end up landing in the passenger seat radio channel. If not, we have a handful of channels, one for Steam Deck and one for software, one to talk about movies. But anyway, so yeah, so I don't remember someone was saying, well, I can't believe you're not using True Lime. And it's like, I don't think lime water would be as good as lemon water. But, what do I know, right? I mean, have I tried it? No. So I started doing a little bit of research, and the True products, the True Lime, True Lemon, they actually have other shit too, which includes an energy version. So you can get it's called, I don't know if it's called True Energy, but I think that's what it's called. Essentially, it's like a sweetener-free, right? I mean, basically it checks all the boxes for an intermittent fast, right? So it shouldn't spike the blood sugar. It's got caffeine in it, and it doesn't taste like shit, right? That's what I'm looking for some sort of a morning wake-up drink. Yes, I can have coffee, but I can't have anything in it. I could technically have coffee if I put Splenda in it, which is like a sweetener that's not supposed to spike your fucking blood sugar. A lot of rules going on here with intermittent fasting. So I could drink black coffee, not going to happen. I could have coffee with Splenda in it, which I've done it a couple times when I was desperate, but it's not very tasty because you can't put milk in it, you can't put cream in it, you can't put half and half in it. None of that shit. So it's black or black with Splenda. Neither one of them are particularly tasty. So what I ended up getting was a true package of energy stuff. So I got like 3 or 4 flavors of that. Not too much going on with the flavor options. Probably in order to keep the sweetener out, there's only so many ways they can work it. But they, along with True Lime and True Lemon. So what I've been doing is using a squeeze lemon, right? One of the lemon juice lemons you buy like in the produce section of the store, and spraying a little bit of lemon juice in my water. And I drink that. If I really need a little something sweeter, I'll drop 1 packet of Splenda in it. So it's kind of lemonade-ish, I guess, something like that. I don't know what you would call that, but I'm getting close to my dead zone point. So if I break up, sorry about that. But they also have, so I got the lime, I got the lemon, but they also, this is kind of nice, they had True Orange. So these are basically like dehydrated packets of the fruit, right? So it's just like using a real lemon wedge or a real lime wedge or a real orange wedge, right? Except for you don't have the mess. It's very convenient to throw these things in your bag or whatever. Shit, I think there's enough cars blocking it. I think I might have gotten by. We'll see in just a minute. I did get an update on my wireless Android Auto adapter this morning too. That might help. Maybe there's a little more fault tolerance in there or something. But usually I lose everything. Navigation, Bluetooth, everything. But nope, not this time. Everything was good. Sweet, you get an extra, according to Google, 7 more minutes of show. So what I really find I like is True Orange with Splenda. I can't really tell you what it tastes like, but it's pleasant and it should be good for the fast. So I'm trying to come up with more drink options because water and I don't get along. So whatever I can do to keep the hydration going. I refuse to have a camera shoved in my pee hole again. So there will be drinks to be had. And of course, no soda. I can't even drink like ices or anything like that because they spike the blood sugar. They spike the insulin reaction. So I got what I got. I did find out that True Lime and True Lemon, a packet of each, with 1, maybe 2 packets of Splenda, depending on the kind of day I'm having, actually tastes pretty damn good. So what I need to try is like the orange and lemon. There's a couple of things I haven't tried combo-wise yet. But yeah, it works out really good. And if you put them over ice, I don't know, it's pretty tasty. It does the job. But the energy stuff is what I really need to get going in the morning. So I'm used to basically rolling out of bed, logging into my computer with a cup of coffee, ready to go. And I just haven't been able to do that since the fasting, and it's been a real pain in my ass. So I'm really glad to have the energy, the True Energy stuff. All right, I'm going to try to get on my exit here. It's assholes abound this morning too. It's not just a lot of traffic; it's asshole traffic. Oh my god. So yeah, I've got a rig up of drinks over here, right? So when I go into work, I should be there at 7, right? I can't control the traffic, people. I got 3 hours before I can imbibe anything. No coffee, no soda. No Diet Mountain Dew, no food, right? So I got to operate, almost half my morning with nothing, which kind of sucks. But so at 10 o'clock, I need something on hand, and I can either go raid the vending machines, which are, basically taking your testicles out and swiping them on the pad. As you know, the vending machines are complete nonsense. Or you bring something with you, you know. So today I brought everything that I need to survive the morning. Let's see. I've got a few minutes left. What's going on? What else is going on? My game of the year this year might end up being Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. That is still my, outside of Overwatch, which is just a staple, right? I don't even count that. That's just my time burner game. But yeah, I've been playing a shitload of this Return to Moria. I think I'm up to 60 hours. And the game was like $25, $29, something like that. It was under 30. And I think I got it on like a 15% off sale or something. Shit, I don't remember. But anyway, it's under $30 and I'm pushing 60 hours, which is great return on investment in my opinion. And I'm nowhere near done yet. I mean, you can kind of tell the way that it's filling up menus and stuff with things. You know, you can kind of tell, like, I've probably got 1 or 2 more biomes left to explore, you know. But see, my friend Russell, who's also usually pops in on these shows, well, he used to. I haven't seen him in a while. Anyway, he helps me do tech support in Steam Deck. He's a few hours ahead of me, so I can, if I ever need a nudge, because there's a couple of times this game doesn't hold your hand, right? So if you don't really know what to do next, or there's no more areas to explore, and you don't feel like you have a strong enough weapon, I can reach out and say, hey, listen, don't tell me exactly what to do. Just give me a nudge. What am I missing to continue moving forward? Because I feel like I'm kind of stymied here. And he can give me a little hint, and it's like, okay. I knew there was something to do with that, but I didn't know that was it. So, anyway. Oh, yeah, so it's sort of like having Invisiclues, only it's a person, right? Remember those, Invisiclues? Came with those Infocom games where if you got stuck somewhere, you could get sort of hints without telling you the answer. I don't want to walk through. Fuck that. I want to experience the game, but God, I need a nudge every now and then, especially now that I've gotten used to games holding your hand and telling you what to do constantly. Thanks Nintendo for that, by the way. I would call you the inventor of, hand-holding mode. I mean, what kind of Mario game has, like, unlimited lives? Whatever. Anyway. So, yeah, I've been playing the living shit out of that. That's been my go-to game. We've all, in my circle, so most of my friends and I are in a Steam family share, right? So we all have access to each other's shit. And it's kind of funny because when somebody buys something and it's new to the library, it becomes new to your library too. So, like when my buddy Chad buys a game, like I'll see exactly what he bought. It's not like you couldn't tell anyway by going to your friends list or whatever. But, I mean, you can... it comes up and it's like, new to library. And he plays a lot of these deck building games and roguelike type, dice, Dungeons and Dice, and this card game. That I think he's trying to find the perfect mechanic, right? According to my friend Chris Henschel, friend of the show, longtime friend of the show, Slay the Spire is the epitome, the definition of the perfect game of this nature, right? Balatro, that's another game that, would be kind of considered perfect. But Balatro spoke to me where Slay the Spire did not. Anyway, so I constantly see this flood of shit that that Chad buys. And 99% of it, I have, like, no interest in whatsoever. It's like, oh, Dicey Dungeons. Well, I know what that's all going to be. Because these games are all just fucking clones. They're all trying to strike, to catch the lightning in the bottle, because you make one Vampire Survivors game that's somehow massively popular, and now there's 10,000 more Vampire Slayer games or Vampire Survivor games. Let me get into the building here. Yeah, so it's like, okay, another dice-based fucking build, dice building, deck building, blah blah blah. Well, I saw one come through, and I don't know where the hell he got it, called Regency Solitaire. This is a chick game, okay? This is a game that has a story line that you progress through by basically playing Tri-Peaks, right? It's the same game as Tri-Peaks, which is the same game as, I don't think Tri-Peaks is the origin. Basically, it's sort of solitaire where you got to play cards up and down, right? So if you've got a turnover pile and the card on top's a king, you can play an ace on it or you can play a queen on it, right? So it's up and down. I can't remember what the actual origin game of that is. Tri-Peaks is what I remember, being my first experience with that up and down. I think there's one called Fairway Golf or something like that. That's the exact same thing. My wife used to play the living shit out of that. But yeah, I mean, that's the core game mechanics are up and down. Solitaire, up and down. And again, it's a chick game, right? It's about you trying to, go to the ball, set 1800s, going to a ball, trying to find the right guy. It's it's a chick game. But the mechanics are very well done. And they add a lot of change-ups to the old formula. So, as you can imagine, it's pretty fucking addictive, whether or not you're playing for pearl necklaces, giggity, or you're playing for, a flirting fan. That's so dumb. But it's a very compelling, well-done game. It just happens to be a chick theme on top of it. So that's the other game I've been playing a lot of lately. And almost everybody in my peer group is playing it too, which is freaking hilarious. A bunch of these middle-aged fucking guys playing chick games. I find it hilarious. Let's see. Shane ghosting us for Halloween. I don't get it. How am I ghosting you? Doesn't ghosting mean I'm not doing shows? All right, well, listen, you got a few extra minutes thanks to something. I am going to haul my ass into work, and this is Shane R. Monroe, Patriot State Radio, saying we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.